Greetings, combatants. This is Shao Kahn 123 coming back here with another video. Today, I'm going to be reacting to Akuma versus Shao Kahn. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
The Union will...
Nope, none of that. Let's see what we got. This is Death Battle.
Then show us.
First, if I remember that guy, he did a pretty gnarly reaction to Shao Kahn.
Akuma, Street Fighter's supreme master of the fist.
Oh, we'll
Shao
definitely be checking out
Kahn,
this
conqueror
video.
of Mortal Kombat. Today, we'll find out which final boss reigns supreme. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick. And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. This is the Japanese kanji for heaven, symbolic of the infinite sky above and the one who stands before it.
And the last thing you'll ever see when you meet Akuma.
Trained by Master Gotetsu at an early age, Akuma was practically born into the ways of fighting. He and his brother Goken were taught the form of Ansatsuken, literally meaning the assassination fist.
Okay, for my little bit of information about Akuma states that Goken is the master of Ryu, who was basically the equivalent of Liu Kang to the Street Fighter universe. I don't 100% confirm this, but let's just step back for a second and check out their stats. Let's see what Akuma
Meditation
has.
and being zen and all that other boring shit. Well, Ansatsuken ain't like the other guys. He combines...
Born into the ways of...
Okay, he's 5'10", 109. Okay, he does not look 199 pounds. I'm gonna just state that right now. That is not 199 pounds. I mean, 199 pounds is kind of thin if you ask me. He's like 200, 300 pounds. He has muscle. Not as much as Shao Kahn, but that's besides the point. Implied to be Ryu's father. Interesting. The fact that the main villain may be his dad. His age is unknown. He's probably old. 5'10". His name's Gukai.
fighting. He and his brother Goken were taught the form of Ansatsuken, literally meaning the assassination fist.
You know, everybody says martial arts are all about meditation and being zen and all that other boring shit. Well, Ansatsuken ain't like the other guys. He combines judo, kenpo, and karate into a unique style that's all about murdering your opponent as fast as possible. Hell yeah!
Unfortunately, the brothers' views on their training greatly differed. Goken rejected the violent methodology of the Ansatsuken, leaving to develop his own, less lethal variant of the form.
Because a style called Assassination Fist clearly needed less assassination. Yeah, good thing Akuma was all about the real deal. He got so hardcore he started training to embrace the biggest martial arts secret out there.
The Satsui no Hado. Ever present, ever malicious, this is a manifestation of literal killing intent. Only Gotetsu had ever mastered this dark power.
So it's like the dark side of the Force, but with karate?
No, but sure. With the Satsui no Hado, Akuma gained great power at the cost of all compassion. This is the power of monsters.
More like winners! Akuma got so good he challenged his master and killed him Sith style. With his ex-master's beads around his neck, he declared himself the new master of the Satsui no Hado.
Obviously, this destroyed his relationship with Goken. The two brothers' destinies, let alone ideologies, were irreparably torn apart.
But who cares when Akuma's perfected all the abilities of an overpowered Shoto character, and then some? He can rain down Go Hadoukens, teleport with the Ashura Senku, and take you for a whirl with the Tatsumaki Zankyukaku.
And if Akuma ever wants to take things up a notch, he can summon forth the Kongo Kokoretsuzan, a geyser of pure energy strong enough to sink an island. With all this power, Akuma is among the toughest Street Fighters out there.
Which says a lot when Hakan could loop himself up with enough oil to, get this, launch E-Honda into orbit to headbutt a giant meteor into smithereens. Well, there's only one way to figure out the TNT of that. I've got the oil whiz. Get ready to launch.
Oh, that's okay. I've already done the math. It's over 500 trillion tons.
Oh, can we still do it though?
Fine.
But did you know Akuma's also traded blows with some of the folks from Final Fight? I guess they're Street Fighters too. And the Macho Mayor Mike Hagar can pile drive people so hard, it makes an explosion you can see from space.
Comparing the blast size to Earth's diameter, this explosion must have a yield of over 120 teratons of TNT.
That might seem nuts, but hey, Akuma's done the same kind of thing. No wonder the only guys who can match him are badasses like Goken.
Akuma would challenge Goken again and again, determined to prove his version of the Ansatsuken was superior. And apparently, he was right, as he defeated Goken with his signature technique, the Shun Goku Satsu.
AKA the Raging Demon!
With this, Akuma gives in to his killing intent, targeting a person's soul and killing their spirit with the weight of their sins. There is only one known way to survive it, emptying your own soul from your body. Fortunately,
or just being Bison and surviving it. Another option.
Goken knew exactly how to do that.
Speaking of souls, this guy Nakali once tried to take Akuma's by devouring him. But not being in Devore, Akuma just blew him up instead. He's so powerful, defeating an opponent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy is not powerful with stealing someone's soul as Shao Kahn is. So yeah, that's a kind of poor comparison if you're asking me. I mean, the guy literally, MK3 already gives enough information to show how powerful his soul stealing abilities is, because he stealed nearly everyone's soul on Earth. And this was in 1995, which was the approximate of 6 billion souls. And since he's absorbed at least 60 billion souls, yeah, it's pretty straightforward how powerful he is. Like, you really need the deities to protect Raiden's champions to prevent them from having their souls taken in that moment. Shao Kahn steps into the film and just decides that let's get all this war, let's get all this resistance out of the way, and let's absorb the souls of just about every person on. Let's absorb everyone's souls, so my victory is ensured.
Takes less effort than smacking a baby. Not that Akuma would ever do that. No, I'm serious, he never would, because despite the whole zero compassion thing, he has a weird code of honor.
It's not compassion at all. To Akuma, fighting is a sort of religion, and respecting the art is more important than anything. He'll spare those with an unfair disadvantage, and those whom he deems respects martial arts like him and can improve. In this way, he sort of became an unwanted mentor for Goken's student Ryu.
Hey, he's not a total killjoy. He did befriend Elena. Well, more like Elena befriended him, but whatever.
But should you disrespect the art of fighting, Akuma will not hesitate to murder you, as disrespectfully as possible.
Like when he jumped that a-hole and Bison so fast he killed him in one shot, and Bison was quick enough to tag this satellite laser beam.
Following the beam speed at this angle, we can determine it was moving well over 5,000 times the speed of sound.
But even with all that power, Akuma knew he'd never be at his best until he'd mastered the Satsui no Hado and become Akuma Blanco, Shin Akuma.
As Shin Akuma, he possesses full control over the dark art, using it to its fullest extent.
Only Gotetsu had ever mastered the Hado like this, because doing it is not just super difficult, but super dangerous.
Right. The Satsui no Hado isn't just a form of energy, it is a sentient entity, striving to push those who connect with it to fully commit to their rage. For when they do, they are no longer themselves. They become the Satsui no Hado itself.
Yeah, like when it tried to take over Ryu and manifest it as its own evil person, Kage. Akuma truly believes the Hado is his best chance at becoming the ultimate world warrior, but he also knows that if he's not careful, he could lose himself to it.
And when he does, the Hado will take his body and become the awesome, demonic Oni.
Oh, he's super powerful. Oni's got all sorts of new moves and can easily overpower pretty much any other Street Fighter.
In Japanese folklore, Oni are yokai, or demons, that spawn from the souls of the wicked upon death. However, in some legends, the most evil of humans can actually transform while still alive. such as Shutendoji, a drunken monk who gave in to malice, became an Oni, and was so powerful he could not die, even after he was decapitated.
Not so different from this big bad blue boy. But hey, Akuma hasn't lost himself to the dark side of the Hado yet. The dude split apart mountains, taking a leisurely trip to the bottom of the ocean, and literally leaped into the land above the clouds. He just jumped and he was there. Forget standing before heaven. This dude straight up flies above it.
Akuma's lust for battle will likely never be sated, but his chosen path has been set. He will either be the world's deadliest man or its bleakest failure. Until then, he will never stop searching for a foe who can challenge the might of his Satsui no Hado.
Okay.
The realm of Outworld is a twisted, barren wasteland where only the strong survive.
Definitely at the bottom of my list of places to go when I retire, and it's all thanks to the tyrannical ruler, Shao Kahn.
Thousands of years ago, Shao Kahn was an advisor.
Again, still wrong with the... Still wrong. 7'6". He's over 400 pounds of muscle. He's over 5 million years old. He's millions of years old. Former advisor. He's a former protector of Outworld. He's basically Kratos. For any who are curious. Addicted to taunting opponents. Well, he spends 50% of his time talking smack, so that's actually accurate. It's also pretty funny too. Like, especially if you're... It can also get pretty rageful when he's just taunting you. It's like...
To the Dragon King, Onaga.
Until Onaga took a permanent nap when Khan poisoned him and claimed the throne all his own. Now that's what I call climbing the political ladder.
With an army of demonic Tarkatans and four-armed Shokans at his beck and call, Shao Kahn began conquering and merging other realms with Outworld, including the once idyllic paradise of Edenia.
Oh my goodness, not the Twin Delvet Khan. I am going to be doing a video on the Twin Delvet Khan. It's going to be along with Twin Del and Jabba Khan, and I'm going to be discussing how terrible their characterization is. We'll get into it at some point.
After which he hooked up with Edenia's queen.
Oh gosh. I'm probably going to use that image as a thumbnail to show how terrible their characterization is. Also, if you notice something, I noticed while watching, because I am going to do a video watching all his scenes in 11, and I noticed how stupid the helmet looks on him at the back of his head. Like, it just looks so ridiculous. I don't know why. Ugly fingers. Why is this? What? Why?
Sindel, but his conquest didn't just win him a traitorous MILF. The crafty bastard also...
She's actually a heroic character in previous characterizations. Like, don't pretend like the 11 characterization is her. It's not. It's not who she's meant to be. She was a noble, very good person. So, reducing her to MILF who is obsessed with Shao Kahn's nipples is not something I want to see in the characterization at all.
Picked up a ton of awesome powers.
Khan is a deceptive leader who isn't afraid to resort to, quite frankly, dickish methods.
Oh, you can call that a dickish tactic because it truthfully is. Then again, it's also pretty funny because he just snaps. He snaps his neck out of spite and then starts basking in the glory of it, like he's smiling. It's just such a part of his character to do. It's just, we're gonna react to it, of course. I'm gonna give a reaction to it at some point. Stay tuned.
To achieve his devious goals.
He's basically a wrestling heel in the form of an otherworldly invader, right down to dressing like a male stripper.
And
actually, 11 dresses more like a stripper with that stupid collar thing, whatever the heck that is on him. All I know is that kind of collar thing is something that...
Despite living on a completely different plane of existence, he's somehow mastered...
That's a unique shot of his
Dressing like a male stripper.
And despite living on a completely different plane of existence,
So that's an image of his fortress from the Legends film, and if you watch Conquest, it's also the same fortress. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I kind of find it, it's pretty awesome that the fortresses that have been depicted through the games, Conquest, and especially the Legends films, show that this is his standardized fortress. It literally is a humongous fortress with an amalgamation of his helmet on top of it.
he's somehow mastered two
That is really awesome art right there. That is really cool. The red glowing eyes, you can't see his pupils. The
Chinese martial
shadowiness of
arts,
it.
Daizu and Liu Wei, both of which prioritize fast and aggressive strikes to
Yeah, if you play Armageddon, like I do, if you play Deception like I do, Daizu and Liu Wei are very interesting fighting styles. As I've stated in previous videos, I really like how Daizu and Liu Wei, how the 3D era uses actual fighting styles, and they just don't use generic moves like generic punching and kicking. Like the fighting styles is definitely something they should bring back, because I like that each character has their own fighting style. Each character has something different to them, and it's very cool.
overwhelm opponents.
But Kahn's real bread and butter is his mastery of magic. He can shoot fireballs, create portals, make you his telekinetic yo-yo, bounce projectiles back to sender, and conjure his signature hammer whenever he wants.
With his Wrath Hammer, Kahn can crush even the strongest combatants
With a K!
to pieces with his brutal fatalities.
That's a
But
good one.
perhaps his most iconic ability is taking souls.
With just a
Because
wave
I've
of his
used that
hand, he
thing.
can dine on some fine soul food, courtesy of whatever sap crust is.
Yep, that's how he does it. Like, literally 10 seconds, he absorbs hundreds of millions of souls, or however many Shang Tsung has absorbed to keep his life going. And yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Shao Kahn is way more of a master at this than Shang Tsung has ever been, because it took him so long to steal one soul in 11, while Shao Kahn can steal hundreds of millions and even billions in very short periods of time. So yeah, mastery. His mastery is definitely on another level compared to anyone he teaches this abilities to.
Path.
Kahn went far with these abilities, and it wasn't long before his conquering eye caught sight of a little planet called Earthrealm.
But first, his forces had to rack up enough wins in Hit the Music Whiz.
We don't have the licensing rights.
Mortal Kombat! Doo, doo, doo.
His Armageddon render going back and forth. I think I've done that actually before in my off time, so I could always do that at some point. It's actually pretty funny.
I'ma stop there so we don't get sued.
Outworld almost had the 10 consecutive wins needed to merge with Earth.
But the goody two-shoes monk Liu Kang just had to ruin it all. But Kahn just said, screw it, and invaded Earth anyway.
The moment Kahn set foot on Earth, he stole the souls of nearly every human.
Yep, that's the iconic MK3 artwork right there. He's just like taking souls without any whims. It's like really cool. The sky is. I will be doing a video on MK3 because MK3 is one of the most. Is a really high raising of the stakes. Like, something I really like about that game is it raised the stakes so high. It's like Armageddon raised the stakes and Deception also raised the stakes pretty high, but MK3 was really the first one. MK2 was the first one to raise the stakes high, and MK3 just exploded the stakes by raising it even higher. Kahn strips the earth of all human life, claiming every soul as his own. Iconic.
Human being on the planet.
Then physically merged Earthrealm and Outworld into one big melting pot of conquest.
The exact meaning of merging realms is a little vague, but from Mortal Kombat 3's intro, we
That is an intro that is showing his massive fortress in the background, and the sky is completely red with that massive portal above.
do know that it
It's like really
transforms the planet into part of Outworld itself. But even when he's not literally folding worlds together, Kahn is always a threat to behold, far superior to most of the other combatants.
He's a cocky asshole, but damn, he sure knows how to get stuff done.
He's one-shotted Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade, survived being impaled, broke Kotal Kahn's back, and has consistently surpassed the likes of the Thunder God, Raiden.
Oh, being all thundery is as fast as lightning. Kahn could even hold his own when Raiden held the power of all the Elder Gods.
For context, the Elder Goddess Cetrion can grow as large as a planet and fire this hyper-fast laser, which, comparing its speed to the curvature of the Earth, can smite mortals at 2% the speed of light.
Oh, you know you're a big shot when actual gods think you're a pain. Look at him go!
Don't mistake powerful with invincible. Kahn's might is only matched by his arrogance.
Yeah, he really does love to hear himself talk, even when it leaves him totally open. I guess he doesn't consider the consequences of his constant taunting.
Is that your best?
I thought it was funny.
You suck.
Joke. Oh gosh. Oh, I definitely gotta do a reaction on the MK9 trailer because that right there is awesome. That's an awesome shot.
Moving on. Even if it can get the better of him, Kahn has proven his arrogance isn't completely unfounded. After ages of conflict, all of the combatants fought in a final clash of good versus evil.
And Kahn emerged as the last man standing.
It was there that he defeated Blaze, an all-powerful elemental who threatened every realm in existence.
Luckily for the good guys, Raiden had a way to basically go back in time and try to stop Kahn from winning in the first place. That's right, Kahn was such a big threat, the only way to beat him was a complete do-over.
And even with that victory now a non-existent memory, Shao Kahn will never relent. Even death has never stopped this conqueror from his ultimate quest to rule everything.
Trash 11.
I am Kahn of
Nope, don't want to see that.
Vacate my throne.
Why are they just standing there letting him talk that garbage? Like, he's literally talking pure rubbish right now. And no one is just doing anything.
Or I'll soak
no one
these
is
sands
reacting.
with your blood.
Okay, so no one's gonna react to the fact that he just pulled out the hammer. That's another stupid thing about 11. How come no one is reacting to anything he's saying? I will be doing a critique using a video of all his scenes in that game, and I will break it down to show how bad it is, but...
Alright, the combatants are set and we've run the data through all possibilities.
Don't use this one.
But first, if you're wanting the kind of confidence it'd take to rule Outworld, check out Blue Chew.
This episode is brought to you by Blue Chew.
Here's a life hack.
Night, so you can plan ahead safety information.
Thumbnail really shows me not version of him. Raging Demon, he killed someone. That was who? What? Is this the Coliseum? Why is it in the middle of the desert? And why are they using his throne from his throne room in his fortress? That they're supposed to use the different skull throne, not this one. That doesn't make any sense.
You dare interrupt my...
Oh gosh, not that design. Come on.
tournament. Another fool seeking my throne.
That doesn't even sound close to him. You dare interrupt my tournament. Another fool seeking my throne. He sounds like a normal person. He doesn't have the intimidation factor. Like, he's supposed to sound intimidation. He's supposed to have such a gravitas. And that's a mighty assumption, assuming that this guy wants to steal your throne.
I only seek your life. Go Hadouken!
That's pretty cool. That would be much cooler if
You will die!
But he doesn't.
Death is beneath me! Stop her!
Did that even affect him?
that your best? Weak, pathetic fool.
Okay, dude, you're literally staring at him while you're saying that. That's usually not how it goes. He's usually facing away from the opponent when he's mocking them, because he views them as inferior and wants to make them know for certain that he views them as inferior. X-ray. Not bad.
Your soul is mine. No!
The way he said that sounds very stupid, but I do predict that Shang Tsung learned that the specific wording from him, your soul is mine. He's really saying it like this. Your soul is mine.
Satsui no Hado is mine!
My impression is the hammer's just standing right there. But the enemy how do you get the hammer? Okay, that looks pretty decent. I'm sure it was cool in the games, of course. But console weapons are fun, veins all these themes. You have to see how ugly it is. I don't like that they have this as a physical object unless it's being fatalities. That's pretty cool. Yikes. The helmet, no, the helmet fell off. Gosh. What did he just rip out of his chest? That doesn't make any sense. Why is the hole a circle? It looks very stupid. Okay. Ugly face, guys. Ugly back. Okay. You gotta be kidding me. Those ugly looking fingers. That is the close-up shot. This is the first. This is what first gave me the realization that those fingers are so ugly. Watching this death battle.
Feel the wrath of Shao Kahn.
Gosh, that ugly face with those stupid lens renders. Those pixels. I know it's like a pixel light from something. I don't really care. But it's stupid. Those ugly ass teeth and look at those stupid lips. That nose. What did they decide to make his nose like the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles or something like that? I don't even know. Another render of his stupid ass fingers. He tears the arm off. Kill out.
Flawless victory!
How can you say flawless victory when you still have a hole through your chest? Also, the hole looks even more stupid like this. Seeing this, the fire, it looks like an oval now. What's the 11
KO! Now that's
At least the 9 version of it looked much less stupid.
what I call a fatality!
With the power of the Satsui no Hado, Akuma was a unique challenge for Shao Kahn.
Yeah, like how he resisted Nakali suggests Khan couldn't have.
That doesn't count. Nakali is probably not nearly as strong of the consuming souls as Shao Kahn is. Alright, first of all, let's get this out of the way. The battle is, well, in my opinion, a 5 out of 10. It's really not that interesting, it's really not that fast-paced. The moveset is there, but if you've seen striding Sparks Akuma versus Shao Kahn versus Akuma video, you know how much of a high standard video that is. The battle is much more entertaining, the battle is much more fearsome, and the battle is much more interesting, but this one is not nearly as. It's just kind of boring and bland, and it doesn't really tie into his characterization as well. They're using more of his Never Realm. They're using a mix between... They're like using the MK11 version of him, just less arrogant and less stupid. Like they're using the MK11 version with some aspects and using mostly the MK9 version for him. Except he has more intelligence, of course, and he uses more movesets like the MK9 version. He doesn't over relies on the hammer, and he definitely feels like more of a genuine threat in this one than he did in the 11 version of him, which I would have been fine with if there's the characterization they used in 11. Like if they used this version in 11, I would have given him more of a pass, except design-wise, of course, but the stupid bunny ears, of course, except for the design, but yeah, I would have given more of a pass if they actually used this more genuine version of his characterization. It's a little bit more of a dumbing down of his character and his characterization, but the problem with the 11 version, which I am going to break down in my video on him, is the fact that it doesn't actually feel like the character. Because you changed his origin, you changed his design, he's basically like a completely different character. Basically, he's just angry tall Reiko from the 2021 movie. That's what he is. This angry tall version of that characterization. No tactical intelligence, no smart, no cunning, no anything. He's just fat. And it's hard to fathom how the MK11 version is capable of ruling his realm for as long as he did. For at least 10,000 years. So it's pretty stupid, in my opinion. But we will get into that more in his critique. As I said, the Sindel critique, the Twin Dao and Jabba Khan critique are coming. And I think I've already done a video on a critique of Shao Kahn from MK11. But I'm probably going to do more, because there's a lot to say, and he still needs a lot of critiquing.
Just yanked his soul away so easy.
And Akuma's level of power was nothing to scoff at either.
Akuma's biggest hits were way stronger than you'd think, blasting apart meteors and making explosions seen from space. But Kahn survived blasts from beings even more powerful than that, like the Elder Gods, who can grow to the size of planets. And remember Blaze? He could destroy all the realms, and even did in one of his endings.
And while Blaze's story ending isn't canon to the Mortal Kombat universe in and of itself, it is still an example of what could happen in canon.
And Kahn whooped that red-hot ass!
While we do not have an exact time frame for Blaze's destruction of the realms, destroying Earthrealm alone would require at least overcoming Earth's gravitational binding energy, or about 47.8 zetatons of TNT.
Over 300 million times the power of the Teraton explosion from Akuma's lineup.
And keep in mind, when Kahn merges realms, he is literally morphing an entire planet into Outworld itself. This means it makes sense he could defeat Blaze, because he already commands a similar level of power.
That's true.
But I know what you're thinking. What about the Raging Demon, Akuma's awesome finishing move? Shao Kahn has racked up more than enough sin in his time for it to totally murder his soul.
He did, but at the same time, he's also much more powerful than Bison, who also survived. So it's a little doubtable that he could actually lose in general. Up to interpretation.
There was always a possibility that Akuma would get a lucky hit in with the Shungoku Satsu. However, given Kahn can keep up with the likes of Elder Gods and their space lasers, he could certainly keep pace with Akuma. While Blaze's story ending isn't canon to the Mortal Kombat universe in and of itself, it is still an example of what could happen in canon.
And Kahn whooped that red-hot ass!
While we do not have an exact time frame for Blaze's destruction of the realms, destroying Earthrealm alone would require at least overcoming Earth's gravitational binding energy, or about 47.8 zetatons of TNT.
Over 300 million times the power of the Teraton explosion from Akuma's lineup.
And keep in mind, when Kahn merges realms, he is literally morphing an entire planet into Outworld itself. This means it makes sense he could defeat Blaze, because he already commands a similar level of power.
But I know what you're thinking. What about the Raging Demon, Akuma's awesome finishing move? Shao Kahn has racked up more than enough sin in his time for it to totally murder his soul.
There was always a possibility that Akuma would get a lucky hit in with the Shungoku Satsu. However, given Kahn can keep up with the likes of Elder Gods and their space lasers, he could certainly keep pace with Akuma.
And sure, Khan's an arrogant son of a bitch, but he knows when to get serious. If his arrogance was that big of an issue, he wouldn't have conquered so many realms.
Both Akuma and Kahn were among the best of the best in their respective worlds, but this match ultimately came down to who would land their killing blow first. Shao Kahn's overwhelming power, mystical abilities, and treacherous strategies were enough to claim this victory.
Outworld's Emperor was the only one who could surpass Akuma.
That's not funny.
The winner is Shao Kahn. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, we'll be jumping into the next matchup next week. But you can always get more Death Battle right.
Yeah, okay. Like, not interested. Not really interested about what's next on the list. Johnny Cage versus Captain Falcon. Nope. So, yeah. Should have definitely taken his soul after killing him. I don't know why, if he did it or did not. It's not to be determined, but yeah, this death battle was definitely the weakest out of the Shao Kahn death battles. There's only 2 of them so far. And yeah, this one is not as interesting as the previous one. So yeah, it's not the best, and yeah, it was. I think I've already stated enough about it. Like, you can see from the battle yourself that it's not the most entertaining version of it. And yeah, there's not really much else to say. By any do, thank you all for watching. As always, if you like my content, feel free to like and subscribe. And this was Akuma vs. Shao Kahn. I will be doing more videos like this one right here. This one. Probably. I've already done this one. The links for these videos are, as always, going to be in the description. So if you want to check them out for yourself, feel free to do it. Without further ado, this is Shao Kahn 123 signing off. And as always, God bless you all. See you in the next video.